What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Pens and Tea. My name is Carrie, and today we're going to have a chat. Somebody asked me a little while ago a question that I thought was really interesting, and I actually had to think about this one. And that was, what is the biggest fountain pen mistake that I have ever made since using my very first fountain pen till now? And I went through all the typical things, spilling ink, breaking a pen, displaying the tines, things like that, things that a lot of people probably encounter from time to time. But what I decided to go with is actually a little different, because it wasn't a mistake outside of a pen, or, when I was first learning, realizing how important paper is, things like that. I decided that my biggest mistake with fountain pens is that I went too hard, too fast into the hobby. And I didn't really take the time to fully enjoy or embrace the journey. And by that, I mean, I am a very all or nothing person. If I commit to something, then I commit 100%. There's no wishy-washy, oh, dabble here, dabble there. No. If I decide that a hobby is for me, I am 100% in that hobby. If I get 100% in a hobby and all of a sudden it doesn't work out, then I get 100% back out. It's a blessing and a curse, really. And so I think with the fountain pen thing, I got into it by accident. I've told that story many times, but once I realized what was going on, and I was really about 2 weeks into the journey, I was obsessed with learning as much as I could, as quickly as I could, which isn't always a bad thing. But the problem with that is that I didn't take the time to enjoy what I was learning, and to actually enjoy the process of discovering things for myself. I was constantly in the state of, okay, now I've learned this, what else do I need to learn? I was in the mindset of there's so much I don't know, rather than there's so much now that I do know. I was focused on what I did not have rather than what I did have. And that's the thing that I think a lot of people have. It's not unique to me by any stand, but it is definitely a trap that I fell into, for sure. And it is something that I still struggle with to this day, not necessarily with fountain pens anymore, because there's not much about fountain pens that I don't know as a whole. There is a ton of fountain pen stuff that I don't know, as far as a specific pen or a specific filling mechanism or whatever, the little things like that. But that's easily Googleable, you know what I mean? The actual foundation, the basic knowledge, things like that. Yeah, not much to learn these days. So I'm pretty good there, but any other things that I'm learning in life, I'm having to constantly battle my own brain of don't go too hard too fast. So right now I'm learning a lot more about nutrition, and way more than I've ever learned before, and it's becoming fascinating to me, which is awesome. And all of a sudden, instead of celebrating the nutritional wins that I do on a daily basis, I'm now oh my gosh, I don't do this, I don't do that, I should be doing this. And I need to stop doing that. And it's a slow integration of all of these nutritional choices, rather than going full stop, hard, there's something to enjoy about slowing down and enjoying the process of one decision at a time. So that's sort of what I mean by the fountain pen thing, slowing the journey, being curious, not just learning one thing and then staying there forever. Like, still be curious, still investigate, still learn, but I didn't really have a community that I could get involved with. So that's part of the reason why I made this channel. But then this channel was actually a downfall a little bit as well, because then I kept feeling like, by watching other people's content, that there's so much that I'm still missing out on. There's so many, like, when you start and the only thing you've ever used is a Pilot Metropolitan, and then you see somebody review like a Mont Blanc 149 or like all of these like crazy Grail pens, you get FOMO. And I kept feeling the pressure that I had to up the game. I had to do something different. I had to make it better. I had, and every time you hear people on YouTube, like, you hear these things all the time. And I'm not saying that it was like brutal or anything. Like, it didn't hurt my mental health that I'm aware of. Because this isn't my living. So it's not like the people that do make a living from here that have to keep up with the algorithm and stuff like that. Like, that's a different level of pressure. For me, it was that in our small niche, I wanted to get myself up to the level of like the Stephen Browns, the Brian Goulet, Matt Armstrong, like all of these people that I looked up to as YouTubers, like Gourmet Pens, like there's so many, rather than just learning from their content. The whole point of mine was originally that we were growing together, we were learning together, rather than just chilling out, essentially, and now I'm at the point now where I don't compare myself to other people anymore. It's just sort of, I know what I know, I offer what I offer, people who want it are going to come see me, and that's cool. So I've definitely chilled out a little bit, but I do still have, a bit of FOMO when I see really cool pens that are, being reviewed by other people. I'm like, dang, I want to try that. But I no longer feel the pressure to sort of be at their level and just be at my own. But that took a long time to get there, like a long time. And I think part of that just comes with age as well. I was in my, mid-20s when I started this channel. I'm now in my early 30s. So just age in general, life experience, things like that definitely help. But yeah, it was just all or nothing, balls to the wall, like, let's go. And yeah, that's probably the biggest mistake, is that I didn't enjoy the journey. Like, when you get a pen, like, the whole point is that you really fall in love with it, you enjoy it, you learn it, where, I was just collecting so fast that I didn't get time to sit with any individual thing and like make that sort of like connection. As strange as that sounds, there's very few pens that I still have from the beginning of my fountain pen hobby, because I think I didn't make that connection with those pens. And there are a few, like the Platinum 3776. In no way is that my favorite pen. It's not like the best writer I ever have, but I have that sort of connection to it. And I think that's sort of where I'm at now. In my fountain pen life, is that while I am acquiring pens still, certainly for the purpose of review, I'm also selling a lot more pens significantly faster, because I'm only keeping now the ones that give me the extra, like some sort of extra feeling about it. The pens that I'm selling are still great pens. They're phenomenal pens. There's just nothing about it that makes a connection with me. So that's sort of where I'm at now. So ultimately, I think that that's my biggest fountain pen mistake, is just not slowing down and enjoying the process of getting into this hobby, because there's so much to learn, like between paper and ink and pens and cleaning tools and tips and tricks, and like just there's so much. Holy smokes. So if there are any people who are where I was a few years ago, like, just enjoy wherever you are in your fountain pen journey, whether you're at the beginning, middle, you're satisfied with where you are, you don't really want any more pens, you're just, you're cozy, you're coasting. Awesome. Just embrace where you're at. Because it's easier said than done. At least for me, anyways. like I said, I don't have what I would consider necessarily an addictive personality, but if I'm going to commit to something, I commit. I don't say yes very often to things, but if I do, boom, I'm in. So yeah, for sure. But what about you guys? Like, what's your biggest fountain pen mistake? And it doesn't have to be like a philosophical thing the way that I kind of went. It could literally just be that you splayed some tines, because trust me, I've done that. I've definitely learned the hard way of how to tune my own nibs. I've done another video on the top 5 mistakes that I've made, where I did go like the more traditional route of, not cleaning your pens and things like that. So check that out if you want to see more of like that kind of stuff. But this is just sort of like the overall journey of fountain pens. So yeah. Thank you for watching this video. Hit the like button if you liked it. Hit the subscribe if you want to see more every Monday and Friday, and the occasional video on Tuesday. Check out the Patreon account if you want to help support me and what I do here. And as always, if you're still watching this far in, I appreciate you. You're the reason why I make these videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to thank all of my VIP and above patrons. This was filmed May 2nd, so if you don't see your name and you've just started supporting me, don't worry, it will appear as soon as I can update it. So we have Mr. Daniel Roddy, we have Elizabeth, Glenn Kelly, Joan Worthman, Brian Hunter, Aaron C., Luna Wolf Games, Bobby A. Bailey, Bass, Whaley Chang, Brian Law, Lucas Bell, Aubrey Madcore, Marissa Calvo, Eric Lineman, Jessica Chow, Stephen Baldwin, Carol Lowry, Michael Simon, Sean Sturdy, Catherine Molina, Robert Myers, Bianca Andrews, Bill Pemberton, Karen Epstein, Gretchen Peters, Subiwan Kenobi, which is just the best name. She's actually presidential tier, Bianca Andrews, DigitalTent.tech, and McCall Bennett Lawrence. Thank you all, regardless of the tier you choose. You will never know how much it actually means to me that you support me, my content, and what I do here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.